comes next for the 25-year-old. Joining us with his insight is Fox News legal analyst Bob Massi. Bob, great to see you today.
Hi, Shannon.
Hey, I want to start out by talking about these so-called son of Sam laws that a lot of states have out there where people, if they're convicted of crimes, they can't go out and sell the book rights or the movie rights and make money off of that. But listen, she was found not guilty. So what do you think are the possibilities that Casey Anthony makes money off her story?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, when you sort of look back over the last 10, 15 years with high-profile cases, there have been money made not only by people who have been acquitted, Shannon, but lawyers, jurors, and things like that. So, you know, but, you know, she does wear the scarlet letter, and she probably always will, and she probably should. The question is going to be, you and I both know somebody out there is going to pay her some good money for purposes of telling her story, whatever that's going to be. As we know, she's been acquitted, so she can't be tried again. The question is going to be who's going to believe her. But, you know, in today's world of sensationalism, I don't know if it matters. You know, I think people just are enthralled with this. Why this case caught fire, it's sort of like when I covered the Peterson case, even more so than the Jackson case. It caught fire because this beautiful little girl who's gone with no explanation, and this mother goes free.
And now we know that she is going to face potentially some other civil lawsuits, much like we saw with O.J. Simpson after he was cleared in the criminal and then, you know, found liable in the civil. What do you think that will do for her as she tries to rebuild her life now?
Well, here's the difference. If you remember, O.J. was found responsible, civilly responsible, for over $3 or $4 million, but because he lived in Florida, his retirement was exempt, so he was able to continue to live on his retirement. She's in a different situation. For example, I've done civil litigation for 30 years. If I sue somebody and I get a judgment, let's assume she gets a contract, Shannon, with somebody, and hypothetically she gets paid $1 million. Depending upon the way that money's dispersed, if I get a judgment against her, I could then attempt through the court system attach that money that she's entitled to in order to satisfy that judgment. So there's a lot of legal maneuvers that's going to be had there. I suspect her lawyers are going to make sure that she's set up in such a way that she will be as protected as legally you can be, but that will make it a little more complicated. The question ultimately is going to be is, you know, where really is this girl going to go and have a life? I think most people don't care. My thoughts always were, as upset as I think most of us were as to an acquittal, I have to respect the jury. Sometimes, Shannon, liberty doesn't mean that you have to, the lack of liberty doesn't mean you have to be behind bars. Her life may be worse in some way outside as opposed to inside.
All right, good point. Bob Massi, always great to have a chat with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shannon. Take care.